Hey, welcome to the December 3rd Administrative and Finance Committee. We'll start with item number 1, which is the call to order and the roll call. And we'll start with Alderman Mike Mielke,
Here.
Alderperson Kathleen Lohendorf,
Here.
and myself, Stephen Knott. I am also present. Next is consideration and action on minutes from the previous meeting.
Move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second.
Move to approve by Mike Mielke, seconded by Kathleen Lohendorf. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is public input. Anyone wishing to provide public input will be limited to 3 minutes. Please provide your name and your address. First call for public input. Second call for public input. Anybody online? Third and final call for public input. Public input is closed. Next is item number 4, recruitment update from the Human Resources Director, Amy Franzen. I do not see her here. Are you able to do that, Rick?
She is here, so I can just step in quickly and see.
Well, okay, we can move on to number 5, the Onalaska Cemetery, where we're doing that. So we'll come back to number 4. Item number 5 is rules and regulations on the City of Onalaska Cemetery. Did read through these and actually was really pleasantly surprised at how much flexibility we do allow our customers, much more so than a lot of cemeteries I've seen. Jared, did you want to cover these?
Yeah, this is basically a lot of what is in the ordinance. It's just regurgitated in a form that's a little easier for people to follow.
Sure.
We did update things like the niches for the columbarium that was not in the other rules and regulations, and just updated a few things that were updated in the ordinance that was recently passed.
Okay, I'll move to approve and file.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Yeah, go ahead.
Just, I do appreciate it. Looks much, it's easy to follow. Thank you.
Yeah, and
That we got to thank the clerk's office for that. They're the ones that actually do a lot of the compiling of it and everything. So it's really their handiwork.
yeah, I do think these are really common sense. And again, I've seen so many other cemeteries that have what I think are overly restrictive policies. These things are, I think that your rules and regulations, Jared, are really spot on. Thank you so much.
Stephen, we enclose this booklet with anybody who purchases a lot or niche. We mail it with their deed.
Okay, so they get it with them. Very good. Anything else? Jared?
I do want to acknowledge also Reed Carey, our cemetery lead worker out in the cemetery. He really takes a lot of care out there and worked with the ordinance, which is relayed in these rules and regulations. So that boots on the ground type thing is really important to us. So he does a great job out there, and it's kind of exemplified here.
Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Let's go back to item number 4, recruitment update from Human Resources Director Amy Franzen.
Good evening. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Here. Yes, as you can see from the information before you, we, in the month of November, we're fully staffed for all of our 118 regular positions. We do have a number of other hiring updates in process. So we do have a vacancy in Public Works that we're currently recruiting for, and that's due to a retirement in December. And then we've also continued with our police officer, if you will, an overfill of that position in that recruitment process. And then a number of 2026 budgeted positions that are also underway that we're in the process of recruiting for as well.
Do we know when the police chief position will be posted?
So we have a meeting with the Police and Fire Commission on Monday, and we will get direction from there.
Okay, good to go. Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Amy? All right, we'll move on to item number 6, ordinance 1839-2025 to amend section 1.02.13 of Title I of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Onalaska related to schedule deposits. And I see that Amanda has a memo that she's passed out as well. Rick, did you want to cover this?
Yeah, I can start on it and then others can chime in as needed as well too. So this part is the actual ordinance itself, which is the item number 6 on your agenda. Excuse me. I think there were some changes that were made in this particular ordinance in regards to the type of or method of payment that can be made when it comes to a forfeiture that is owed. Later in the agenda, there will be a specific topic in regards to the specific schedule of deposits. This one, though, I think refers just directly to the ordinance. So again, that's my understanding of what this particular item is about, and I'll let any of the others chime in as needed. So.
Katie?
Thank you. So everything in red has been updated. Pardon? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have any red. Oh, back here, got it. Okay, yeah. All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mike Milky, seconded by Kathleen Lohendorf. Any discussion? Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So for this, I don't know who I should ask, but so this is basically for like when people have a fine they're paying, correct? And then, I mean, we'll get to the next part, but there's steps for different levels of this and everything, correct?
The next section on there, we'll talk about the specific one.
Okay.
And what violations will have what kind of a forfeiture associated with them. If I remember correctly on this one, when I was talking with Amanda, I think the original was you could only pay in like cash and check or something like that. And so now with the different modes of payment these days, this is an opportunity just to clear it up. So there's any option that the city will accept is acceptable.
So we'll be able to pay online or other methods.
Correct. And that's why we put to the financial services directors like discretion, because we do now take even like Apple Pay and I think you can Venmo for citation. So
Is there any fees for those transactions?
yes, there
Okay.
is. Yep.
Thank you.
Anything else? For the record, I do want to also annotate that we've got Alders Benash, Jurassic, and Wolf also in attendance here. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7 is ordinance number 1840-2025 to create section 6.02.47 of Title 6 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Onalaska related to telecommunications and towers in the city right of way. Now, I don't have a insert in my packet on this, so who's going to talk this? Okay, Katie.
Thank you. So the purpose of this particular ordinance section is that when the city last did our telecommunication towers in our zoning code, this particular section was inadvertently removed. So we wanted to get it back in the code. And upon review of many different communities, it has now been moved into the Title VI Public Works section. Also, as part of looking at this ordinance, it hasn't necessarily been used often here in Onalaska. So the particular ordinance is modeled off of the city of Madison that has a very in-depth and tested program. So that is where the language is coming from today. Thank you.
So are we looking for, it says to create, are we looking for approval to include this and it'll come at another time? Or are you looking for actual approval of it now?
It's approval of this ordinance to create it. It does not exist today.
Okay. Right. I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
So for discussion, will we have this in the common council packet next week so we can have a chance to review it all?
It was amended on Friday. So if you haven't had a chance to check your email or your mailbox, it
I've been in there. Huh, okay.
And I guess I never saw like it. I just saw it on here. I never saw anything else added to the packet.
Yeah.
I missed it.
The amendment schedule was definitely there. If I missed it, I didn't see any other attachment. But that's okay. I mean, got no problem approving it and moving it on to the common council so long as it's on the non-consent agenda. So.
And we can definitely put on the non-consent agenda, give you an opportunity to review it and further and ask any questions. Okay.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Oh, wait, hold up, Jared.
Yeah, I just want to say, since this, like, I did work with Katie and Amanda on this, just reviewing it and trying to foresee anything we could see, because a lot of it's dealing in the public right away. So it was, Amanda and Katie really led the effort on this. So I want to applaud them for, getting this all worked together. But we did look at it kind of from the right away perspective also.
I'm quite confident it's going to be pretty much locked and tight, but, we do have to do our due diligence too. So I'd like to read it first, but we'll have a chance to do that before final approval next week. So I have no problem moving it on now. Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I'll turn this over to Mike for finance.
All right, thank you, Steve. All right, on to finance, item 8. This is the 2025 General Fund Center financials. I'll pass this to Sabrina, our finance director.
Thank you. In your packets, starting on page 12, is the general fund financials through October 31st of 2025. If I can draw your attention to page 13, at the bottom of page 13, you can see our total revenues through October 31st of 2025 are $11,533,391.89, of which we have 4.55% remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues for the year. As of October 31st of 2024, we were at 5.71%. So we're actually ahead of where we were at in 2024. Then if I can draw your attention to, I believe it's page 27, to see our total budgeted expenditures and our total year-to-date balance for our expenditures. Total expenditures year-to-date is $9,729,184.02, of which we have 19.48% remaining of our total budgeted expenditures. As of October 31st of 2024, we were at 25.49%. Part of that difference is because October was a month where we had 3 payrolls. In October of 2024, we only had 2. Our 3 payroll month, I think, was either November or December last year in the last quarter. So that's the main reason why you see a difference there. But I will take any questions that you have. Page 28 is the balance sheet for the general fund in 29.
I'll move to approve and file.
A second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Lohendorf to approve and file. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 9. This is the 2025 Omni Center financials. And once again, I'll pass it over to our finance director, Sabrina.
Thank you, Chair. So next in your packet, starting on page 30, is the Omni Center financials through October 31st of 2025. Total revenues are at $774,224.39. That does include the room tax transfer for the third quarter. So we do have 1 quarter left. And as you can see, line item 640-00000-449201. That is the operating transfer in from the room tax or the tourism fund. And as you can see, we've transferred $122,414.32, which is more than what we had budgeted. So that means our room tax is doing well in our tourism fund. As of October 31st of 2024, we had 6.29% remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues. So we're actually ahead of where we were in 2024. Then if I can draw your attention to page 31, our total year-to-date expenditures in the Omni Center is $703,841.68, of which we have 14% remaining of our total budgeted expenditures. As of October 31st of 2024, we had 12.92%. So again, looking better than where we were at in 2024 as well. Then on page 32 is the balance sheet for the Omni Center. I'll take any questions that you have.
I'll move to approve and file.
A second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Lowendorf. Any discussion?
Yeah, so looking at these, the numbers look good. So the budget, if I'm reading this right here, is that we were expecting to have approximately a 10K deficit at the end of the year, and it looks like we might actually swing a little profit. Am I reading that right?
That is correct. One of the things that we wait to record until the end of the year is depreciation. So that will have a small effect on the expenses, but overall, it is looking good through the end of the year.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 11. This is the Axon Mobile contract. And Chief, do you want to start with this for us?
Did you not want to do 10?
Do you want to do?
Oh, geez. Sorry. Get to you later.
Yeah, on my toes, are you?
Get to you next time. All right, let's go to item 10. Let's go in order. Gunderson Lutheran third quarter parking ramp financials. And I'll do this with Sabrina again. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So next in your packets on page 33 is the 2025 parking ramp operating cost through the third quarter. Again, this is just a quarterly report that's sent to us from Gunderson, or I should say Amplify Health now. The city of Onalaska does contribute $1,250 quarterly for the parking ramp operating costs. So you can see that we've made our payments through the third quarter. You can also see the monthly average of cars that use the parking ramp. But if there's any direct questions related to any of this, I'd have to reach out to Gunderson if you had any specific questions.
I'll move to approve and file.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott, it's been seconded by Alder Lowendorf. Any discussion? Not seen any. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now, on to item number 11, Axon Mobile contract, and we'll hand this over to Chief Ashbeck.
All right, thank you, Chair. This really is just for informational purposes. I wanted to bring it forward to just keep you in the loop. Essentially, in a nutshell, we had multiple contracts with Axon that all had end dates at various different years. And so in discussions with my Axon rep, we had certain services that were ending that we needed to renew. And so we started a discussion of what if we tried to bring all our contracts together and kind of essentially renew them now and bring them all to a new 5-year end date. So it was just essentially one contract to manage instead of 6 to try to plan for when this one's coming due. We need to budget for that and whatnot. So with that, Axon was able to offer some pretty hefty bundle savings of almost $300,000 to us for doing this all at one time. So we worked together to get everything buttoned up, and there's a timeline in there. Everything is budgeted for next year. We kept it next year's payment within budget, so there's no issues with needing additional monies or anything like that. So really, it's just for full transparency to let you know what we did, and that I can answer any questions that you may have.
Go ahead, Alder Knott.
Yeah, so thanks for putting this together. The $275,000 savings, over what period of time is that?
That is over the 5-year period. So
Okay.
as other contracts would have come due, the amount we would have paid for that single contract would have been at a higher rate. And so the savings of pulling all those together into one, they were able to offer a much bigger savings to us than, little savings here and there over those 5 years.
So does that mean that 2026, we're going to be saving 55K? Approximately?
Well, it's hard to put an exact number on it because of the various contracts ended at different times. And so I don't know how to, I guess I don't have it broken down in an exact, like next year's the savings of this month. I mean, essentially you could divide it out over 5 years. If that's 55K, then yes, I guess.
It'd be 55K if it was the same every year. I just was curious, you know, because that would be good news for our budget as well. So,
Yeah, I mean, no, in the sense that what we are going to pay next year is just slightly below what we had budgeted for next year. So it's not like we're saving 55K, but in the long term, maybe it's really in years 2 through 5 is those savings because those other contracts were coming due over those years. And that's where I guess we're realizing the most amount of savings.
okay. So it's
'cause-
we're on the tail end than the lead end. All right. That's, either way, it's good. You know, less is always better. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Probably nice to have it all consolidated too. So making kind of one main payment instead of, well, I guess there's 2 right now, but instead of having 6 of them, it's nice.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed this many years ago, so I wouldn't have had to have managed all these.
Yeah.
At least going forward, it's set for the next person.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Chief. Any other discussion? Okay. Thank you.
Negotiating.
All right, we will move on to item 12 to amend the schedule of deposits. And Rick, do you want to take this one to start?
I can start with, and then people can add in as we go along. You saw the memo that Amanda had sent out, I believe it was earlier today. You should have a copy of it in front of you as well. So the scheduled deposits, while it's generally looked at from time to time in the different sections, this was a comprehensive review of the entire thing. So you'll see, again, a number of red strikeouts or additions to the schedule. A lot of it was cleanup. So there were references to ordinances and maybe the ordinance sections had changed. So we had to make some changes to those references. Some of the forfeitures themselves were increased, not a lot of them, but some of them were. So for example, one to come in line with the license, I believe it was for an animal, was more than the forfeiture for mistreatment of an animal. So just something along those lines that make it more kind of fair or just. So those were just some of the things. There's a lot of cleanup and then adjusting them accordingly. So that again is generally describes what happened with the schedule of deposits. If there are specific questions, I mean, we'll do our best to answer them. Otherwise, we can, again, put this on the non-consent for council, and Amanda will be present to answer anything specific to if we can't answer tonight.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Lohendorf. Any discussion on this? Alder Knott?
Yeah, so on the very first page, 6.02.34 under Title 6, Chapter 2, Street and Alley Design Standards, the raking of leaves into the streets. Personally, again, I do not like that. I don't do that, but I see a lot of people do. I assume though that during the fall period where you have the leaf vac going around, that is an exception or no?
And I'll have Jared respond. I'm not sure if they're supposed to keep them on their yard when they actually. rake them.
Yeah. So if someone would be intentionally raking their leaves into the street, we can issue a citation. We never have. We have sent multiple letters, and we usually solicit the police department for interdepartmental help to explain the rules to certain individuals, and usually that's enough to convey it. But we do have, like, for instance, when you can't shovel or blow snow into the street, that's also a forfeiture. That the police help us with. And they have ticketed for that one. We have had individuals that will continually do it, and they've been warned, and eventually it's a citation. So it's good to have it there. I don't envision it being a high use, but it's good to have it.
Yeah, 'cause normally what I see at least in my neighborhood, is folks will rake it up into that boulevard.
Yep.
And then the wind does the rest. And of course, prevailing winds in my own pity party all blow into my yard. So but all right. So, but that went to, it's specifically intentional raking into the.
Yeah. And it would have to be, I mean, if you've ever seen it before, it's pretty obvious when you drive down the street and you can see them all in the street at one house.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Katie has a question.
Sorry, go ahead, Katie.
Thank you. Also to note that if the telecommunications ordinance is adopted, this will need to be modified accordingly. Just as an example of when we create new ordinances, then the scheduled deposit goes along with it. So there will likely be a proposed amendment to this at council to accommodate the new telecommunication ordinance provided it is adopted.
Okay, that sounds good. Probably should put it on the non-consent then in the event that we do amend it, so.
I have a general question too, and I don't know, I guess, Village of Holman just had that big thing come down with the e-bikes. And I see in here, we do have the registration required and some other things. Do we know, is there been any other discussion about these e-bikes and things in our city? Maybe Chief?
Yeah, Amanda and I have been in discussions. I have a copy of the Holman ordinance and we were going to review that together to see if that's something we want to propose. Not saying word for word of what Holman has passed, but something to that effect.
Okay.
So yeah,
I see it's in, obviously we have something in place for right now with some fines and forfeitures, but I was just curious if there's more on that. So thank you.
If I could, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So under 7.07.24, the exterior regulations, the recreational fire permit required. Am I reading that right? That is now going to be $187 for somebody to have like a pit fire in their yard? Is that what that is?
That would be the citation if they were having a fire without a permit.
Without a permit. Okay, got it. All right, I got it. Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, I see that. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right. Do we have a motion on this?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. We have a motion the motion already in place. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 13. This is resolution 28-2025 to approve the 2026 special events fee schedule for extraordinary services. Sabrina?
Thanks. So next in your packets on page 63 is the resolution to approve the special events fee schedule for extraordinary services, which is then on page 64 and 65. These are for special events. So we just had the turkey trot. So these are the charges that we would charge, in this instance, festival foods, to have our police officers, our street department, or whomever work for a special event. And my department prepares this on a yearly basis, and we just include the COLAs increases for the wage, any changes in health insurance and things like that. Those types of increases we add together to get to our totals that are listed here. So we do this every year.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Mhm.
Any-
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Alder Knott, been seconded by Alder Lohendorf. Any discussion? Alder Knott?
So on the wage or the fee schedule, is that those fees for personnel are like per firefighter, per law enforcement officer?
Correct.
Okay,
And per hour.
and per hour. Got it. Yep.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to item 14. This is resolution 29-2025, resolution amending the city study account. Rita?
I can start, and then I don't know if Chief or Rick want to add. This is the resolution regarding the fire assessment fee. So there was discussion for this $30,000 to be put into the 2026 budget by using reserves from 2025. So this is just the resolution to put that $30,000 in the city study account. So then in 2026, we can move forward with hiring a consultant to help us learn more about that fee and how we would implement that and so forth.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Alder Knott, been seconded by Alder Lohendorf. Any discussion on this resolution? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And now on to item 15, the Scenic Mississippi Regional Transport, also known as the Smart Bus funding in 2026. I'll hand this over to our city administrator to start.
I'll start with it and Sabrina can add as needed. So just a little bit of a background. The city has historically contributed $8,000 per year towards the Smart Bus program. Smart Bus program provides transportation for individuals between various different counties. There's Crawford, Vernon, Monroe, and La Crosse counties where the transportation is provided. Many times these are for medical appointments, but not exclusively. It's a program run by La Crosse County. So back in August, we received a letter from the county indicating that they were not going to be funding the program and closing the program down for 2026. So when the budget for La Crosse County was proposed, that funding was not included. After receiving that letter, I did reach out to Jane Kleekamp. She's the county administrator, just to have a conversation about how serious this was and if it was, thought that it was going to go back in. After that conversation and conversations internally here, I felt comfortable removing the funding. Many of the other municipalities or organizations that also provide funding did the same thing, removed it from their budgets as well for 2026. Ultimately, the county board at their November meeting put the funding back in to run the program for at least one more year, and then appointed a group to look at long-term solutions for basically this regional transportation program. Since that was put back in, a letter then came out to all the municipalities and organizations who had previously contributed, asking for them to contribute at or above their previous contributions. There are a number of municipalities and a number of private organizations, 15 to 20 that all contribute. My understanding is the vast majority, if not all of them, did not include funding. The only one I am specifically aware of is Vernon County did restore their funding. I would say that it probably, other than the city of La Crosse, Vernon County probably has the largest ridership. And so they did restore the funding. So the request here tonight is, first, does the city of Onalaska want to provide funding for the Smart Bus program? If yes, we'll provide options. If no, then there's nothing further that we would need to do. It is not any mandatory requirement. It is a request from the county. And then any funding that the county does not get from other sources, they will end up covering that cost themselves.
Mayor Kim?
Rick, I think the key point though that you didn't add is the reason the county didn't have it.
True. Yep. Good point. It was not financially sustainable. So there is obviously I shouldn't say obviously, there are a number of grant programs, both at the state and federal level. Those opportunities are decreasing. And so based on the expenses versus the revenue that they had coming in, it was operating at a loss. I believe for 24, it was operating at 123,000, and projection for 25, I think, is over 200,000, if I remember correctly. And so that was the reason why they were looking at disbanding or canceling it. So the program, my opinion, from this in its current state is not sustainable, which is why the county board did ask for this group to get together and start talking about the long-term sustainability. Having said all of that, that was the reason why they were not going to continue funding the program, is because it was not economically feasible for them to do so.
I had to assume that in out years, we would expect the losses just to continue to increase.
The information provided by the county as through September, there was still a 12% decrease in ridership. So yes, the amount is going to continue to go down based on those projections.
Rick, do you have the number of ridership for the city of Onalaska?
I do, actually. Again, this information is provided through the county. So in 2023, the city of Onalaska had 74 rides, and in 2024, it had 39 rides. The percent of total rides in 2024, the 39, is 0.2%. And so that is the ridership for specifically La Crosse. Again, Vernon County has a large number of rides, I think roughly 6,000 to 7,000. I'm just ballparking the numbers here. City of La Crosse has a fair number as well too. And Monroe County has a decent number as well. Those are probably the primary areas. But yeah, it's for the city of Onalaska, 39 last year. And that was 0.2% of the total ridership.
Riders in the entire year.
Correct.
Alder Lohendorf?
Is this providing some kind of public transit, is it filling some kind of a gap within the public transit system that these 39 riders, do they have another public transport public transit opportunity available to them. Oh my gosh, I can't. speak,
Sure,
Sorry.
easier said than done, right? My opinion is that they do have other options. We do have MTU stops here in the city. There is a rideshare program. Now that doesn't go specifically into La Crosse, but it can potentially get them to another method of transportation, another MTU stop or something along those lines. You know, there's the traditional taxi or Uber as well too, those kinds of things. So it isn't leaving people without any option. My other, and this is just my understanding, I haven't been able to confirm this. I believe they can still utilize the program even if we don't contribute to it. So I don't believe it forgoes them using the program. It's just if we don't contribute to it, obviously they have to fund it themselves.
I guess personally for me, when it's at such a low percentage and usage, it's hard for me to want to contribute. I know that might sound harsh, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's still other means for them to get around. It was a great question, Kathy.
Sure. Mhm.
Oh, do you want to go?
Yes.
Aldernaut.
So, yeah, I did some quick math. So assuming the $200,000 loss this year, not including what the contributors already contribute, just the loss alone is $5,128 per ride. And yeah, that's just not reasonable. I mean, you could fly first class to Europe and back twice on that.
Mhm. Certainly.
Alder Jurassic, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, when I worked for the company, the majority of those rides from the city here mostly went to the VA hospital in Toma. And now the VA is other riderships now, so it's reduced the numbers greatly. So that's what majority was.
Thank you,
No,
Alder Jurassic.
Alder Jurassic does bring up a good point. These riderships are not just to La Crosse. I mean, there are other communities that they can have rides to as well. So he does bring up a good point in that respect too.
I'll move to.
Kim had some.
Oh, good. I'm sorry.
Mayor Kim?
Yeah, I just was going to add a little bit more commentary and statistic. I've supported the smart bus all along. I think I've always been a proponent for public transportation, and I felt like, it's it's one of those things where if we don't have good public transportation, it's hard to build good public transportation because people can't use it because it's not effective. And the smart bus really was helping fill a need for commuters to use this transportation to get to and from work for those longer hauls, like to get a little bit further distance in and out, kind of like a commuter train in a bigger town. So I've supported it all along, but in this case, like just to give you one statistic, the increase, so that what the county was doing is they were supplementing some of these shortfalls with using the ARPA money over the last few years, so that they were trying to keep, the best they could, trying to keep the local costs down so they could try to sustain the affordability of this service through the gap. But in the previous year, I think it was 153,000 was the local share that we were all contributing to. And if it were to continue, or this year for 2026, I think the amount was $280,000 that we're all having to come up with. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's just too much of a gap that I don't support. I know the county has already made their decision separate from us, but I just don't support the viability of that. I mean, I think we need to find out something different. Just doing this at that cost doesn't make sense to me. And so although public transportation, yes, this is not making sense to me. So that's my position. I just want to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move to remove Onalaska's funding.
I'll second.
We actually don't have it currently funded, so I don't think you have to even do that.
Right. At this point, because we didn't include it in the 2026 budget. So this would only be is if you want to move forward with providing the funding, then I would say do a motion to include $8,000 in the 2026 budget. If you don't want to include it, then from my perspective, no motion would be necessary because it's not in there already.
I'll remove my motion. It's moot. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that would be the direction that we're all thinking.
I agree with Mayor Kim. I'm all for public transportation, but if this is so far, it's just not feasible to maintain
I do have one question though.
Go ahead.
Are there any other grants that we would habitually rely on that would be impacted by not funding this public transport option?
No.
All right, on to item 16 for adjournment.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Alder Lohendorf and seconded by Alder Knott. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously and we are adjourned at
6:10.
6:10. Thank you.